This is a video I want to make directly for my friends and acquaintances within my social circle. Whether you know me or not, you're welcome to stick around. And I like to share how and why I voted because I can be wrong. I often am. So together, let's examine the facts. So when someone asks me to help them understand the decision before us in this election, I try to boil it down into an espresso shot. I see the red as a vote for globalism, for opening up trade with Europe and Asia, to spread out and diversify our trade while trying to take advantage of our northern resources. And then on the blue side, I see it as a vote for isolationism and interconnecting our economy with that of America and making a unification between America and Canada. Going into this new AI revolution, the new industrial revolution, Canada as a nation is having all of the chess pieces in position to become a superpower, where down south in America, all they have left is petrol. They don't have any of the resources needed or required to develop the modern manufacturing that China is taking advantage of, where they have entire car factories the size of San Francisco that do not have humans working in them. It's all robotics building products. The way I see it, either we vote to develop our resource extraction and refinement and build manufacturing within Canada using Canadian resources, using modern technology within Asia, help bring that technology to Europe and Canada to develop our market as the allies, the traditional allies. Or we vote to sell off our federal lands and our federal resources, our water and our minerals, to corporations that are largely based in America, to have our resources extracted and taken down to develop the manufacturing within America, the modern manufacturing, instead of developing it in Canada. Economically speaking, blue is a vote to bend the knee, where red is a vote to try and bunny hop America once they've stumbled. Beyond economics, speaking from a purely theological perspective, and this video is inspired by a conversation I had with one of the great theologians of my life. I know many of you won't believe this, but I'm deeply conservative in my beliefs, and I have been for a long time. The only reason I have a little bit of liberal in me is because of going to a liberal arts college. That said, the main non-starter for me for voting blue was when Emperor Palpatine raised up his hand and came back from the dead to endorse Pierre Poilievre. Emperor Palpatine used to be part of another political party called the Reform Party, and they were the most racist, anti-women's rights, anti-everything. So then when the Conservative Party was not winning any elections, they decided to merge with Emperor Palpatine's party, and ever since then, it's been a cancer on the Conservative Party. Ever since that merger, they've descended into very divisive politics. A little fun fact, by percentage, the cost of housing increased more during Emperor Palpatine's short leadership than it did over the entire decade that liberals were in power. And that was when the economy was doing well. And that leads into the IDU. Those of you that fearmonger the WEF, I fearmonger the IDU. The way that you feel vitriol towards the WEF, that's how I feel towards the IDU. And so where the WEF is an academic conference, the IDU is an international organization of political party leaders attempting to try and develop a world government basically around Christian nationalism and liberalistic economy, classical liberalism. I see the conservatives as more liberal than our liberal party, especially now under our new leadership that is pushing for a right-leaning reform of our economy. IDU scares me because they promote Christian national ideologies. Everything that you see that looks horrible to you down in America, that is because the Republican Party is part of the IDU. I also believe the IDU is the main reason that Pierre Poilievre won't get his and cannot get his security clearance. I can never get behind a classic liberalist economic standpoint because classic liberal economics is failed. We've lost to the communists. I don't know if you've noticed, but subsidizing crown corporations, or communism, has enabled monopolies within niche marketplaces such as drones and electric vehicles. When you use taxpayer dollars to help subsidize a crown corporation to undercut the market and completely eliminate all competition, you effectively are able to get a monopoly. We've seen this as China develops a monopoly across the entire world. Classical liberalism is dead. The IDU needs to follow suit. We've lost the economic war by following classical liberalism, and I believe red is the reform that we need to get on board with getting back on stage within the world economy. All that classical liberalism has proven to do is the rise and increase of wealth and equality. Free market has decided that kings shall rule as such and that peasants will remain with a boot upon their neck. The last non-starter for me is Pierre Poilievre's use of the Finkelstein formula. Not many people know what it is. It was developed for Ronald Reagan during his campaign, got him elected, and it was developed by mimicking a very infamous political campaign of the 1930s. While Reagan started off strong, he led to this classical liberalism dumpster fire that is America that I speak of now. He put everything in place to be where they are now. The Finkelstein formula can be boiled down to negative campaigning, simplified messaging or slogans, exploiting cultural divide, and othering/dehumanizing the opposition. Anytime I see someone within business circles, political circles, or social circles that I am aware of employing the Finkelstein method consciously or not, I have to take a very different approach to how I negotiate with them, how I understand them, and how I help them understand my ideas. Most of the time they outright refuse to see anyone's perspective but their own. Finkelstein Goldstein formula has been used by authoritarians, dictators, conquerors, and men who have perpetrated genocide around the world. It is a psychological worm in someone's brain, and once it's there, I think it's very dangerous. I think most Canadians are aware of this danger as well, too, which is why we've seen what we've seen within this election. The simplest summary of why I voted Liberal is that leaders lead through unity, conquerors conquer through division. To those of you that didn't unfollow me because of my political stories, I appreciate you. To those of you that DM'd me and got into deep, long-winded discussions with me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This should be a conversation we're having face-to-face over 30 minutes, looking each other in the eyes, hearing the intonation of each other's voice. Political discussions should not have a 100-character limit. The reason I haven't been more politically active within my social media is because I did for the first week, and the amount of vitriol and hatred and just absolute slime that was poured all over me in my DMs, both from people that I know as well as strangers. And what I imagine as Canadian identity is the exact opposite of that. I don't like what politics has become, don't like how social media handles politics, but I do believe that's a conversation for after the election. I do want you to know that I have faith in our country regardless of the side that we pick. We are going to come through this on top.